Alright, so if you want to test as many ads as possible and that as budget friendly as possible, I have the perfect structure here for you. We've applied this to like more than 50 brands. It has been working well over and over again. Here for some proof, you can see the ROAS over the last 30 days. You can see the ad spend. This applies to bigger accounts that spend like 200K per month, but also to smaller accounts when you just start ads from, let's say, $100 per day. So let me show you how we want to set this up. So basically here we have just one main campaign running, and this is where we do all the testing. If you go into this, you see we have a winners ad set running and then many test ad sets. In this winners ad set, we have all the winning ads running, okay? Those are basically the winners from the tests. And then in these testing ad sets, we just have new ad ideas that we are actually testing. And the way you want to structure this is actually by testing one hypothesis with each ad set that you're running. An ad set is not just random, it's the same ad concept, the same ad idea, but you're testing a new hypothesis. And if you do this, this has actually two big advantages. The first one is that, as you can see, this campaign is a CBO. This means we set the campaign budget at the campaign level, and Facebook, so the algorithm, decides what to spend on. Now this is one of the big advantages that many brands miss out on, because they want to try, like they want to go and test each ad idea one by one. They want to basically force spend on bad ads just to test them, and this is what basically gives them lower ROI, and this is why they overall have a lower average performance than the brands that we work with. Because if you run it with this system, what happens is that Facebook will decide what ads to spend on. And it doesn't just do so randomly, but actually it goes in and let's say, okay, let's sort it by, let's actually go into this test. What it does is it looks at the ad that you actually want to run, right? Facebook is investing a lot into AI, so they scan the ad, they try to understand what you're actually running here, they compare it to their huge database, they look into, hey, like this kind of ad, was that performing or not, is it even worth spending on it or not, and then if they think, okay, it actually makes sense to spend on it, then it goes and spends just a bit of budget, just like $5, $10 or $20, and then based on the early engagement of people, it actually decides, okay, does it make sense to spend even more on it or not? Because it could be that an ad is maybe converting, but only for a small audience and nobody's really engaging, nobody's really commenting, right? So in that case, Facebook just cuts off the budget for that ad because it understands, hey, this ad is actually not scalable. If you want to have a winner, huge banger ad, then you want to make sure that this is scalable and appeals to a lot of people. And Facebook has mastered this algorithm. I know that like many people are still skeptical of this, and they're like, yeah, they just want to force spend onto their tests. But then on average, what happens is really that, like, let's say we look at this ad, right? So here we can see, okay, the ROAS was 3, but this one actually got just 2 purchases, right? So if we would go and actually force more spend onto this, maybe you know that the more you spend on an ad, the lower the ROAS usually gets, because Facebook pushes it to a bigger audience. And well, basically those $136 are spent on an audience that is most likely to convert from this ad, and this is why it has a ROAS of 3. Now, if we say to Facebook, even though it decided to not spend more on this, if we say to Facebook, okay, no, you have to spend more on it, it is like, okay, let me find the next likely people who are convert from this, right? And it will find them, but maybe they will not convert on a ROAS of like 3, but on a ROAS of like 2.5. And then if you push even more spend, let's say like $500 or like $1,000 more, it will further deteriorate. The performance will get lower. So this is why this system is so genius, because we don't force actually spend on ads that are not that scalable. Like you can see, it still makes use of those like smaller ads that spend not that much. I know we are currently on the ad set level, but I will explain like how to structure the ads in that ad set at a later point. Like basically you can right now you can assume, okay, one ad set is actually like one ad, because this is basically how we structure it with a split test inside the ad set. But for now, just think on the ad set level. So Facebook goes and it's like, okay, this can generate some sales, but okay, these ads in here are still most profitable, and this is why we will spend most of the budget here. And this is exactly what it does, and this is exactly why the performance is that high. If we would force more spend onto these, it would get lower, right? So this is the first big advantage of this system. Now, the second big advantage of the system is actually all the data that you get from the tests, even if the tests don't really spend. So when you launch a new test, really just a few things can happen. Scenario number one is that the test gets lots of spend, let's say like this, right? Of course, this is still way lower than the winning ad set here, but let's say this got like a decent amount of spend, and you can see the performance is quite decent, ROAS 3.6 when we have actually a target of ROAS 2, right? So this performs decently, and we actually can say, okay, this is like a small winner. This might be worth transferring into the winning ad set, okay? This is one scenario. Another scenario is that the ad barely gets any spend, okay? And then maybe no sales, as in this scenario. And then we know, okay, after 3 days, usually after 3 days, if it doesn't get like any sales or more ad spend, we just turn it off. And then there's a scenario where the ad gets a lot of spend, but actually is not profitable, right? So for example, here's an example. I think actually this didn't get a lot of spend, right? But like $250, and the ROAS was below the target, so we just turn it off after 3 days. It's really as simple as that. You run the tests for 3 days, and then you look and decide, okay, is it better than my target? Okay, then we just keep it and transfer it into the winning ad set if it got like a significant amount of ad spend. Or, okay, is it below the target and got some ad spend? Okay, we turn it off. Or is it like just not getting ad spend? Then you basically have to detach from your ego that is potentially saying, yeah, but this ad should work, let's force ad spend on it. Trust the algorithm, in 98% of all cases it's right. Then you can just turn the ad set off. So this is overall like the thinking structure of this way of running the ads. So basically you have one winning ad set, and then you launch the tests. And the tests are just concept ideas that you structure in split tests, which I will show you soon how to set up. But for now, you just have to understand that, okay, we have this winners ad set where we have all the winners running, and usually this is the ad set that gets most of the ad spend. And then the new tests, we structure them like this. And in this way, we can really focus on launching a lot of new tests, very budget friendly. Because if that test is bad, you can just shut it off after 3 days, and the test almost didn't spend any budget at all, so you are not losing anything. Facebook just focuses on the winning ad set. But if the test is great, it will get ad spend, and you will basically scale. It's as simple as that. Now, I hope this is clear. If something is not clear at this point, just write comments and I will reply to all your questions. But now let's actually move on and look into how we structure the ad sets. And this is the second huge thing that many brands do wrong, because people are like, hey, I found this competitor ad, or I have this idea that I want to test. And then they go ahead and they launch an ad set. They might call it, hey, test like whatever the date today is, 4th of July, right? 2025. And they just put in all their ideas into that ad set and just see what kind of picks up. And well, this can work, but this is really gambling. You're kind of gambling your ad budget this way, because it has no structure. And even if something works, you can't really tell why. So the way we structure this is that we will have the same concept, right? The same concept. So here the concept is very simple. It's just a bullet, basically a list of bullet points with the benefits and an aesthetic image for this jewelry brand, right? So this is the idea. We will have 3 versions of this ad where we actually test something. We are testing a hypothesis. For example, here you see why each cuff is unique, and then the bullet points, okay? Now, if we go into this, you will see why I gift from this brand, right? And then the bullet points. So here we have another visual, first of all, and then also another angle. Like here in this test, we are testing angles. We have the same ad format, which is proven, but we test different angles, right? Here also another one, why the cuffs from this brand last, and then the benefits. And the benefits are also always aligned with the angle. So here we test the same ad format, but 3 different angles. And if we look at it, like what will happen now when we launch this ad set, if it resonates with the market and Facebook decides to spend on it, it will distribute the spend based on, well, what resonates most with the market. So you can see this got almost all of the spend, this a bit, and this even less. And you will see that here, okay, so regardless of whether this ad set is a winning ad set or a losing ad set, like we know this ad format based on the performance here, right? It got a decent amount of spend over the last 30 days with a average ROAS of 3.6. So it's quite decent. We can improve on that, but it's quite decent, right? So here we see that why each cuff is unique is the best angle here, because this is what Facebook decided to spend on. Like this also got some spend, and you can see, okay, the gifting angle basically, right, is the next appealing angle. But we can see that most of the budget went towards this one. So this is the best angle right now. And it's also important to think in a way that says this is the best angle right now. If we are in Q4, very likely that the gifting angle will be the best, right? So you have to see it in context. But right now, this one is the best one. And now also here, some people get confused and they're like, why? This is actually not true. Like, look at this rows, it's 7. Here it's 3. Like, this is crazy. I can scale this. This will be amazing. Well, no, actually not. And the reason for this is, again, the same as I mentioned before, the same logic as on the ad set level, right? Facebook decides what will resonate and scale the most. So like this one got a purchase for like literally just one purchase for 7 rows. But if you would, like, you have to ask yourself, okay, if I would 10x the budget on this, would it really stay at the rows of 7? Most likely not. And from experience, I can tell you it won't. Like, it will fall below 3.38. It will fall to like 3 or 2.5. And this is the exact reason why Facebook says, okay, like this worked well for one purchase, but like based on the engagement, based on other metrics, this is actually not that great to scale. So it just goes and spend on this version, okay? And this is very strong. This is a huge advantage because first of all, you get to know your strongest angle, whatever you split test here, right? Here we split tested the angle. So you get to know your strongest angle without really spending much money. You just see what Facebook prefers, what your audience prefers. And then also, you just give it like this ad overall, this idea, like this format of like a benefit bullet point list. You give it the most chances of success. Because imagine if you would just launch one ad set and have like 5 completely different ideas in it. And for this bullet point list, you would try something like this angle, okay? Why it lasts, because they're durable. And then it would just fail. Wasteful, right? Because here, this actually won. Testing different versions, you will increase the likelihood of success. You will get free data, literally free data, because, okay, you spend maybe like $70, $80 on this, but it's almost free. Like, just by this test, you learned that, hey, like, this is the strongest angle over these two. And now all the future tests, you can just focus, like, double down on this angle. Like, this is huge. And the thing is, with every single ad set, with every single ad idea that you launch, you do this, again, for free. Like, you know, if we look into this one, now this didn't really spend much, but let's just look into it for the sake of data, right? Here we have a negative review angle. Here it's the same angle, but we're testing different things in the split test. So here you can see the first one, wouldn't recommend, it goes with every outfit, now I wear it too much. So this goes, like here in this ad set, we test this angle, right? We test this angle of the negative review, this kind of ad format, but we split test different benefits framed negatively, like with this 1-star review. So here, would recommend, it goes with every outfit, now I wear it too much. So this goes into, hey, you can wear it with every outfit, one benefit. Here another one, this goes into 1-star, people won't stop asking about the story behind it, I'm exhausted, okay? So these cuffs actually have a story behind them, native artisans make them by hand. So that's the story behind it. That's like a curiosity gap to hook people into like, hey, what's actually the story? And some people like that it has actually meaning. It's not just a mass product, right? So this is the other thing that we test here. And the third one, 1-star, I've worn it daily for 6 months and now it looks new. So again, the durability angle kinda can't justify buying more jewelry now. Okay, so kind of funnily framed, right? And here we can see among these benefits, the first one performed the best. Again, not much data, not the best example, right? Because the whole ad set, like the whole negative review angle didn't really perform well. It didn't get much spend, but we can still see, okay, this kind of appeals most because it got the most ad spend and actually one purchase, whereas the other ones didn't get any purchase. And again, some people might come in and say, hey, but like these didn't spend at all. Well, you shouldn't force ad spend on it. They didn't spend because they are worse than this version. Like when you launch this ad set, you literally tell Facebook that, hey, like I have this, like these ads that are very similar, and pick me one of these that actually perform the best, right? That actually performs the best and resonates the most. And it did exactly that for you. So from here, you can actually build a new hypothesis. It could be, hey, actually, like this image is just not resonating. You can see the person is kind of brown. Here the person is kind of white, right? So you could say, okay, maybe the hypothesis from here to test this, white people resonate more with the white creator and the audience is rather white than brown, and we want to focus on that. So your next ad set could be something like this exact same like picture, but you could like go ahead and change the skin color, like have different models pose exactly like this, but different skin tones, and then see, okay, what resonates the most, right? Ideally, you want to do this with like not losing ads like this one, but actually winning ads, because those are already proven, so you get some data in. That's the whole logic behind the system, right? So you have this winning ad set, you launch a lot of new ad sets, like you can literally launch 3 to 5 new ad sets, new ad ideas every 3 days. After 3 days, either you have winners or losers and turn them off. As simple as that. And if you calculate like per month, right, you can launch, like, let's go through it together. So you have like 30 days and then you launch every 3 days, right? And times like, let's say 5 batches, okay, 50 ad sets per month, which is like times 350 ads per month. And the beauty of this is, again, you don't spend on them if they are not good. So you save a lot of ad budget. Just like calculate, okay, if you actually force, let's say $100 ad spend on each test, how much would you usually pay to test all of them? It's like, let's say even on each ad, 15,000 per month just to test. And then you can see, okay, why the performance is down. Because like most of them won't be great winners, just some of them, but you spend so much on them. And in this system, you just spend on the winners and those that have potential. So here you can see, okay, again, some of those spent below the target, and we turn them off. Others didn't really spend, and the winners ad set that, you know, just keeps performance up all the time, no matter how much you test. Now, I hope you can clearly see the benefits of this, and if you actually want me to help you with this and structure this, just click the first link in the description. But if you want to set this up yourself and test it yourself, just check out this video where I go over the exact setup step by step in case you need it step by step. And then you basically can just go through it, replicate every step, and you can set this up for yourself. Keep scaling. Bye.